sheeple, lazy and evil. For years I've watched y'all allow Donald Trump turn you to crazy people. Where's that freedom eagle when you...
Welcome to 3-Count Commentaries, where once again we must discuss something that CM Punk, has had to say, in which he, of course, indirectly referenced WWE while trying to put over AEW. But, so let's just get right to it. Why waste time? CM Punk said this in Wrestling Inc. I think this was at a Chicago Comic Con. Here's what Mr. Punk had to say. He says, "To me, one of the biggest things about AEW is we enjoy the payoffs. We like making the fans happy instead of, for some reason, making them miserable and doing stuff just to piss them off. Sometimes the happiest outcome is the most obvious one. We don't really feel the need to beat anyone over the head with switching it because they figured it out first. I enjoy making the fans happy. That's one of the biggest, that's like the juice for being a pro wrestler, is getting reactions from the crowd." All right, so this, of course, is his spin on WWE's "we put smiles on faces," which is, they got made fun of for saying that, right? When WWE started talking about smiles on faces, everybody starts, "Oh, they don't put smiles on faces." It's like people smiling all the fucking time watching this show. Excuse my language, YouTube. I know you guys don't like for people to curse so early in the video, but hey, we're talking about CM Punk here. He really gets my spurs jingling and jangling. But listen here, let's talk about this. So he said they enjoy the payoffs. They enjoy making fans happy. WWE makes fans miserable. Here's my thing. The jaded wrestling fan, to which I am one. So sometimes when I'm talking about jaded wrestling fans, I'm putting myself in that class too. You make yourselves miserable because you choose not to like anything. You look for reasons to not like stuff. This has been a thing with wrestling fans for 30 years, especially since the internet. Because the internet made it so that people can make you miserable by liking something. This is something that I saw in the No DQ comment section. Somebody said, and I think this is a very good point, but he said it about AEW. He said that there is an issue when WWE fans see AEW fans having fun, and then they make fun of them for having fun. And I say, well, it also happens the other way around. For years, when WWE has full buildings and the shows are up and everybody's loving what's going on, everybody who was a fan of Ring of Honor and TNA and New Japan, how could you watch that? It's so stupid. It's so dumb. How could you like that? It's a back and forth thing. There is no one side to this. Both sides don't want to see the other side happy. I don't give a damn what makes AEW fans happy. On this channel, I simply say what I don't like. But I've seen too many of these channels that try to make an argument that their opinion is fact, and that if you like something, somehow you're a shill, you're a loser, an e-drone. Now, I take it to the next level by calling people AEW sexuals or even e-drones if necessary, when there's just no possible way you could like this legitimately. Or when you see something that you wouldn't like if somebody else did it, but you're making excuses because they did it. Orange Cassidy is like the number one thing with me. If Orange Cassidy was on Raw doing the exact same thing every single week, people would complain. How do I know this? Because R-Truth is on Raw every week, essentially doing the same thing. The 24/7 is guys running around in circles, chasing the title. Occasionally they do some outside stuff. Mostly they just do chasing around the title. They do some comedy. You see people all the time complaining about that. Always complaining. Oh, 24/7 is so stale. They just do the same thing all the time. And I would say, you're correct. It is stale because they do the same thing all the time. Now say that about Orange Cassidy. They never will. They never will. Say that about the Young Bucks. They never will. They never will. Say that about CM Punk's promos where he comes out and says the same thing pretty much every week. They never will. I don't have a problem saying that Charlotte repeats herself 100 times per month. There's no problem with that. I'm not married to the fact that even if I like Charlotte, which I do, I think she is probably one or two best female wrestlers in the business right now. But she repeats herself a lot, but her promos are scripted, so it's not really her fault. Okay, I saw What Culture say that, oh my goodness, the Roman Reigns storyline, they've already ruined it because there's no hero. We don't see any story in which Roman could possibly lose. And I say, you know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. Now say the same thing about Britt Baker. You won't do that. Because Britt Baker's been champion for a long time. She just beats everybody. And there's no contenders. There's nobody on that roster that, for starters, she hasn't already beaten. Or that if she wrestled them, she would just beat them. But it's the exact same situation that we're talking about with Roman. But you wouldn't say that about Britt Baker. So it's almost as if people make themselves miserable by being inconsistent and being stupid. Now, when CM Punk starts talking about, AEW, they like to do the payoffs. It's like WWE loves to do payoffs too. The fact is, when WWE does a payoff, people look for a reason to hate it. I'll never forget Kofi Kingston won the WWE title. Everybody, it should have been almost unanimous that people loved that moment. At least the moment, and at least, the first couple of times that he was the champion. I'm not saying like you had to love the whole run, because you're never going to love the whole run. That doesn't make any sense. And plus, everybody hates how it ended. But at least that moment should have been good. What you had was the tastemakers in the wrestling business, guys like Meltzer. They would say, Kofi Kingston is the champion. Well, we're in the you deserve it era. Oh, he only got it because he's been around for a long time. It's like they are the ones making you miserable, not the show itself. They're telling you what you like is stupid. You're watching the show every damn week and then go listen to some podcaster tell you that you're stupid for liking it. Then you say, whoa, it's stupid. Everybody thinks it's stupid. It's like, not everybody thinks it's stupid. I had an epiphany the other day when I think I was standing in the middle of Walmart and things just come to me. And I say, you know what? Everybody hates Walmart, but so many people shop at Walmart. Walmart has some business practices that people don't like. There's business practices about Walmart I don't like. But when it comes to getting electronics, when it comes to getting certain items, odds and ends, like, paper and pens and all that kind of stuff, you really can't. It's hard to beat Walmart. For some stuff, it's hard to beat Walmart. And if you run a Target, of course you're going to say Walmart sucks. If you're a big fan of Target, you're going to say, oh, how could you shop at Walmart? There's nothing but greasy idiots in Walmart. But that's really all it is. When CM Punk is going out there talking about we love to do payoffs, WWE loves to make you miserable, he's just a guy working at Target talking about all the guys that work at Walmart. That's all it is. It's not that big of a deal. It's Whole Foods talking about McDonald's. Because McDonald's sells so many more burgers than Whole Foods, they have to do something. They have to say something. What are they supposed to say? We put out better food? It's like, your food's expensive. Nobody cares. More people shop at McDonald's than shop at Whole Foods. Sometimes that's just the bottom line. And people don't, WWE is McDonald's. It's Walmart. It's easy to get into. It's convenient because it's going to be there every week. Sometimes they get in a bit of a rut where they start cutting some corners and doing some stuff that they shouldn't be doing, which is all fair for you to criticize. But to act like they're actively harming you, like one of the things that I also saw that I thought was very weird is the AEW fans say, like, you're in an abusive relationship with WWE. It's like, how can I be abused by a TV show? Either I watch it or I don't watch it. I don't have to watch this shit. I never had to watch it. No one ever has to watch it. No one ever has to watch it. WWE does do things that pisses people off. Of course they do. Breaking up the Hurt Business pissed off a lot of people. How they ended Kofi Mania pissed off a lot of people. Firing Keith Lee and Karrion Kross pissed off a lot of people. But it didn't piss off enough people that, the everything collapsed. Just like AEW does things that makes people happy. They do things that people like bringing back CM Punk, doing this storyline with Bryan Danielson. Some people like that thing. But you're not making enough people happy that the show is growing. So what are we talking about here? We're just talking about preferences. I think that AEW and WWE, now, I think AEW is doing the best that they can. WWE actively does not do the best that they can. And that's the frustrating part. If you want to say that WWE is lazy, they are. If you don't want to say WWE doesn't do the best that they possibly can, that is absolutely correct. They have gotten lazy. They have gotten complacent. That's what happens when you're 60 years of success. You get complacent. There's no real challenge to this stuff anymore. You have a formula. You work your formula. That's how, McDonald's patties come pre-packaged. You throw it in the whatever. What the hell is it? I wouldn't even call it a grill because it's not even a grill. They come with these pre-packaged patties, and then they do their thing, and you get the Big Mac just how you wanted it. Because when you came to McDonald's telling them you want a quarter pounder or a Big Mac or chicken nuggets or something like that. Why would you come to McDonald's looking for anything other than what McDonald's is known for? So when you watch WWE, you know what WWE is known for, period. That's how they make their money. AEW has to establish what they're known for. They haven't done that yet. But it seems as if they're just going to be Burger King, which is going to still be prepackaged fucking patties, but it's going to be cooked a different way. So Booker T said this, and I think that was probably one of the smartest things he's ever said. He said pro wrestling is doing what everyone else is doing, just a little bit different. It all takes place in the ring. Some people do the round system. Some people do no rules, like ECW. Some people do the six-sided ring, like TNA and all the Lucha Libre promotions. Some people do European rules. There's European wrestling promotions that do that. Some people like the dangerous stuff. The, thumbtacks and barbed wire and fire and all that kind of stuff. And people are going to gravitate towards what they like. But it only seems to bother folks who are not fans of WWE that other people are fans of WWE. Now, people criticize AEW, and then when they expect to be able to go to the wider circle, their wider conversation, and be able to criticize AEW, and they find out they can't, that's typically when they start getting triggered and going over the top. People want you just to be free, criticize AEW, but that can't be the case. It's a cult, and this stuff is one of the reasons why I say that. CM Punk literally just said in this thing what WWE says. He says, I enjoy doing the payoffs. We like making fans happy. WWE says we put smiles on faces. And remember, they made fun of WWE for saying that. Fuck putting smiles on faces. But nobody's going to stand up and say, CM Punk, man, you shouldn't care that much about that. Nobody's going to do that. They're not consistent. They're not consistent with that. So I think largely, a lot of the jaded wrestling fans, they make themselves miserable. When I sit down and I do these reviews, I'm having fun. I have fun doing reviews. If I think the show sucked, I'm just going to say the show sucked. But there's always going to be something in the show I'm going to be able to laugh at, have fun. Even I'm making fun of it, laughing at making fun of it. I'm not, that's just how it is. I've been watching this shit a long time. I've seen a lot of bad wrestling. Bad wrestling sometimes could be way more fun than good wrestling. Because what are you going to do if you see a good match? Yeah, they went out there, they had a pretty good match. Good match. Somebody goes out there and has a bad match, though. Oh my God, you can spend almost 10 minutes talking about how bad it is. So I try to have fun with it. I don't want to make myself miserable watching this show. And I feel like the wrestling promotion is trying to make me miserable, like Impact does sometimes, and like Raw does sometimes, I will still try to find a way to have fun, even with the review. Or just with the, interacting with other people talking about it. I'm going to try to find, like I said, Tony Khan, Vince McMahon, Dixie Carter, none of them can dictate your fun level with this show. Nobody can. You can. If you don't want to have fun with it, it doesn't matter what the fuck they do. You're not going to like it. You're not going to have fun with it. You're going to be miserable. So ultimately, they're not in control of whether you have fun or not. You know? Oh, Vince don't want us to sing the Nakamura theme song, so he changed it. Well, guess what? You still know the words. You still could have sung the damn song. When they changed Kurt Angle's You Suck theme, people were still chanting You Suck. Funny how that worked. When The Rock used to stop doing the la 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 la, you say, stop, this ain't sing along with The Rock. People would do it anyway. That's like, you dictate your fun level when it comes to pro wrestling, not the company. The company just brings on the show. You decide whether you think the show is fun or not. Don't blame WWE if you're miserable, because it's not the thing that you want. That's fine. You know, we all can be happy in some way of it not being the thing that we want it to be.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression. Regression, the best don't